agus fáiltíam revanjet písa cancha dhéanamh faoin mBille seo sin an mBille Cheadúnú Sábháilteachta Foirgníochta. Is mBille Thar bheith tábhachtach is mBille le 60 míor, 60 leathanach, 63 míor las jete ní báirt. Agus is mBille téigire in áíire agus tá skedulan freisin a clúdaíonn na gníomhachtaí atá faoi chabaidil agan agus a bhaid faoi córas nua. Bhhatlam mo bhuiachas a go bháil hiag an seirbhís leabharlanna agus taidir freisin a sucht an digest á réití acu dúine chun an mBille a bhíú agus mo bhuiachas don obair tá déanta ag an Rhein agus an Ara. Is mBille Thar bheith tábhachtach é seo agus nuair a bhaid sé I bhaim ba córas umláin nua I gceist ó híomh an córas eilúna ba údarás nua agus ba an túdarás sin il-aimach ó híomh a lánrudaí go háirid aitheantas a thabhairt de oibrithe a slár ó híomh na gálaíochtaí de, ba siad an an gearán a fháil agus ba córas a chórc I gceist freisin. Ní bhaid idirghealú ní smó ó híomh oibrithe a oibríonn san airneáil tógála agus iad siúd a oibríonn maidir le an córas caréil. Agus is maith an rud é sin. Tá sé Thar bheith tábhachtach mar tá an mBille seo dírithe ar cuasaí sábháilteachta agus sláinte. Agus chun é sin a choirí I ggóics ní mór do me lua na figurí ón údarás sláinte agus sábháilteachta agus dúrú lens na figurí sin gur chalú 7 duine I 2022. Agus dúrú len go bhfuil siad an nólas gur bé an airneáil tógála an ceann den na hairneála is buailí. Idir 2011 agus 2014 de chalú 153 duine san airneáil tógála. Agus I 2021 doling beagnach 800 duine san airneáil seo. Just chun an rud a choirí ggóics, so tá an mBille seo Thar bheith tábhachtach dúine mar thiar don airneáil tógála ach níl gceist an seo ach gné amháin ó híomh an méid atá ag tastáil agus beidir go mbeidh deis agamsa go le reis go dtí córas printíseach raibh iarra má físa canse ach fáiltíom raibh an mBille seo. I very much welcome this bill. I'm going to avoid trying to repeat what I just said in Irish, but it's important to thank the Library and Research Service, as usual, for providing a very good digest, to the Department for their work, and to the Minister. It's an extremely important bill that really has health and safety at its core, and I hope that that will materialise in reality and that it's not a bureaucratic, I won't say mess, but I hope it will do the job it does, and I think a review of it in due course will be essential to see, because it comes from a long history. The general scheme itself was published in October 22. The pre-legislative scrutiny was waived, and I'm always worried when I see that being waived, because I think it's a very important opportunity for things to be teased out. But obviously the committee made that decision. In relation to the regulatory impact analysis, now perhaps the Minister, unfortunately I'll be gone when you're giving your closing speech, but you might clarify this for the record. The regulatory impact analysis carried out for every bill as I understand it, but the Library has pointed out that it wasn't published, so I'm not sure why that RIA wasn't published, and that was given to the Library on the basis that it would be given to us but that we couldn't share it. So that seems something out of I don't know what it's out of really, but is there a reason for that? I've read it and I see nothing in it that can't be shared, but yet a decision was made that it wouldn't be published. So perhaps you could clarify that, particularly when pre-legislative scrutiny was waived. On top of that, Going back to 2017, we had what's known as the Bearing Report, and you know more about this than I do, but that was 2017, and they identified a number of issues: the resurgence of activity in the construction section, the continued growth of the workforce in the coming 5 years, the changing nature and makeup of the construction industry workforce, and the emergence, obviously, of new equipment, techniques and methods that were not addressed in current legislation and are still not. The need to facilitate the mobility of the EU workers in the sector, and I know that's part of this bill, that recognition, to recognise qualifications in other countries. They pointed out back in 17, that's 6 years ago, that the legislation was dated and it was limited in opportunities for process and programme improvements, and there were a misalignment between the existing accreditation system and the FETAC awards, and that's been sorted out hopefully with this bill. A loss of key staff, which has been referred to repeatedly, a loss of key staff and specialist skills within the construction services unit of the department, and subsequent capacity to meet increasing demands. Following the publication of the Bearing Report, an independent technical working group was established which reported on how to progress the review's recommendation, and again found that the current legislative system was dated and did not reflect technological and sector changes. However, there was still a delay because on foot of this was a general scheme was drafted, but the work was paused pending the creation of your department minister. And so that's the background. We've got to where we have today with a bill that hopefully will sort out this section in terms of improving health and safety on building sites and inquiries, and that's to be welcomed. I also welcome that there's no longer a distinction between workers in the construction sector and workers that deal with quarries and that. And indeed, in the bill, the schedule sets out the areas that are covered. And as I understand it, Minister, we're not talking about craft workers here, we're talking about non-craft workers, and the various areas are clearly set out. I just want to also look at apprenticeships. City Council in Galway, which I was a proud member of for 70 years, I couldn't tell you at this moment how many apprenticeships they have. Indeed, I couldn't tell you how many workers they have, if they have any left in terms of maintenance and housing. I live in an area in the Claddagh, I won't single out, houses empty, no workers to carry out that, waiting for the houses to be bundled together so they can go out to a private company. The house in particular that I'm thinking of is now 3 years empty, and I see Deputy Farrell nodding, and she knows all of the houses. We're not talking about 3-4 weeks turnover. We're not even talking about 6 months turnover. We're talking about years, and the houses are empty. Right in the centre of town, the houses are empty. They were identified as houses to be done up for artisan dwellings. Never happened, of course. So I am particularly careful to praise staff. I see how hard they work in local authorities, shoved from the department to department. But I'm finding it increasingly difficult to stand over the lack of vision and management in different local authorities, including my own. And so when we're talking about empty houses, and I see at any given time between 80 and 100 houses empty in Galway, and I'm saying, what has happened? We have lost our skilled workers. We haven't given opportunities for those on the ground to upskill, and they want to upskill. We haven't built up knowledge, and that was one of the gaps identified in the report on the analysis of skills for residential construction and retrofitting. The absence of skilled workers, the absence of opportunities to train. And I'm just using the City Council in Galway. I'm sure the County Council is in the same boat. I just haven't the exact figures on that. But I despair to watch a council losing skilled staff, losing every opportunity to upskill them and to be visionary, to lead in terms of empty houses. It's not good for any city to have empty houses. We're told repeatedly that it's a minute percentage of the overall housing stock. I don't think that's a satisfactory answer. I think it's just completely... So to me, if I was there, I would say, what staff do we need? How many carpenters do we need? How many plumbers? How many new apprentices with new skills in retrofitting do we need to deal with this? And Minister, for the life of me, I can't understand. I come from a practical background, even though I didn't go into a practical career. I come from a practical background, and I have no idea how this could be allowed to build up, except part of that was the complete denigration of someone who didn't go to university, and the highlighting and the promoting of IT skills and other skills, while we look down gradually on teachers, but always on the trades, when in point of fact we should have been doing the exact opposite. Skillful people with the ability to solve problems. If we had learned from them, we wouldn't have got the country into the same mess that it went into. And notwithstanding that we're talking about transformative change that's necessary as a result of climate change and as a result of COVID, I see no evidence of that. I see the old thinking all of the time and not transformative change. So if we go back to Galway, if we were seriously interested in dealing with the housing the emergency, I think it's worse than Dublin. I'm on record for saying it's worse than Dublin. And yet we have no significant actions taken in relation to tackling that. A committee was set up, a task force, over 3 years ago because of the emergency, failed to produce a report. And I would have thought within that report we would have identified the absence of skills, the need for apprenticeships in possibly every public body, but certainly in a city council and a county council, and a whole range of things to show what's possible. None of that has happened. So I'm going to finish, Minister, by saying I welcome the bill. It's one tiny aspect in relation to what's needed in terms of apprenticeships. And indeed, again, I'm quoting from that report, and they identify really, really huge figures in relation to what's necessary. And they point out there's a drop of more than 300 apprentices, a drop between 22 compared with 21. Apprenticeships number went down, notwithstanding the work that you've done, and I acknowledge the work that you've done. Registrations down from 8,607 to 8,286. Of the registrations in 22, 68% were in construction. And the government strategy is to achieve 10,000 registrations every year by 2025 as part of its strategy to tackle the housing crisis. That's not happening. We haven't reached that figure. And the local authorities either, I don't know, but certainly I think a hands-on approach in relation to local authorities, CEOs, I prefer to call them city managers, I believe they were there to serve the people, and they should be asked, what are they doing in relation to apprenticeships and housing?